Hey guys, welcome to a recap of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 16, Art Imitates Life. And I feel like this episode we got a lot of drama, and unfortunately, it wasn't even fun. It wasn't enjoyable for me whatsoever. I felt like the topics that we're going to discuss in this episode are quite heavy, and it's unfortunate. Even though we all saw this coming, we knew this was going to happen, but I didn't realize how heavy it was going to be and how everything's gonna hit all at once at the very end. I did not, I don't know, I did not even imagine this happening because throughout this whole season, the girls haven't been having much fun, but I feel like this was in the back burner, weighing on at least Drew and Ralph and the other ladies. I feel like they didn't get a chance to really get their shine, particularly Kenya, which we will discuss, because I guess other storylines are going to be pushed in the forefront of this season. So, y'all, let's get into this recap. I hate to say this, I cannot support Drew nor be against Drew. I feel bad for Drew because I feel like she has an opportunity on this franchise to, continue further with her acting career, continue further with her singing career, and continue further pushing and sharing her family on such a large platform where everyone can win. Unfortunately, I feel like all these things are not being balanced out. Let's start with this, Candy, who's been such a supportive friend, even though Candy and Drew are not at the best of terms. Candy, has given Drew an opportunity to not only um have a role in her husband's movie, but a main role that I know pays some money, pays some coin. Drew, of course, she's a professional, so she knows how to act and she does a great job at that. But I would say, given that she under the terms that her and Candy's friendship are, I don't feel like Drew is appreciative of this moment because Candy did not have to do that for sure. And I feel like Candy, she's trying to move forward with this friendship, even though, Candy acknowledges that what she said was what she saw, and Drew acknowledges that what she said is what it is, and they're gonna keep it as that. They are moving forward, at least professionally, by wrapping up and finishing up this movie. So Candy has a wrap it up party where she's gonna have all the ladies and pretty much everyone in Atlanta to show up and arrive to see the trailer. When I saw the trailer, it looks like a hit. It looks really good and well done. So that's kudos to Candy. But of course, I had no doubt that her and Todd were gonna put this together and produce. So that was not a shocker. I was rooting for Drew. It felt so good to see Drew enjoying this moment where all her hard work is now paid off. She's done, no more late nights. So now she gets to see what her hard work was for. And I like that, Candy Coated production crew did all the nice touches and had the Hollywood stars lined up in the entrance with Drew's name on it. And she felt so special in that moment. I feel like it's one of the highlights of an actress career to be featured on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So this is like a little bit, a little taste for the real thing that's to come. So I was rooting for Drew. I'm happy for Drew. And she is nervous. She's getting mic check. She's doing rehearsals before her performance because in this wrap it up party is not only going to be premiering the trailer for Todd's movie, The Pass, it's also going to be an opportunity for Drew to perform her new single. So I thought this was a win for Drew all the way around. And you don't get much of an opportunity like this from other directors, other producers who are putting out a movie, okay? No, 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 no. It doesn't come easy. So I felt like this was such a great opportunity for her. And you see all the ladies, even Kenya, Miss Kenya Summer Moore. She was such a sweetheart event towards Drew and such a support for Drew, doing all the choreography, cheering her on. I felt like the ladies all came to support, not only for Candy and Todd, but for Drew. Even Marlo showed up and she was happy for Drew. It was a Drew moment, okay? I'm tired of saying Drew, 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 so let's focus on the other ladies, but we'll get back to Drew because a lot went down. Now, focusing on the other ladies who I felt like didn't get much of a shine this season because I felt like this season after it came out that Drew was filing for divorce, the storyline kind of focused and centered around that and how it led up to that. But we have other ladies on the cast, and I do want to mention about them and what they had going on this season. Now, we've Miss Sheree. There was a lot going on. First with Martell, and next we had the situation with her beefing with Candy. Then she was beefing with Drew, just to like get things going. And they, of course, Sheree, she's the one that, you could always make up and move on with her. Now, the biggest revelation of this whole season is to learn that her ex-husband, Bob Whitfield, had fathered a child that she did not know about. Okay. And apparently, this child was around her kids, and she had no knowledge of this whatsoever. When this information came out, the way Sheree is so composed, like it's as if nothing just happened, like a bomb didn't drop. So her and her daughter were driving, doing their day to day in Atlanta. And they were just having a whole conversation about this situation with Bob and his daughter. Now the daughter did confirm, this is Sheree, the daughter that Sheree does know about, did confirm that she did know about this other daughter, and that she have seen her in parties, but she never thought to mention it to her mom. So I'm thinking, okay, so I wonder why, but Sheree doesn't stress it too much because it's not the responsibility of her kids to tell what's going on. It was really the responsibility of Bob to let that be known. So to her, it's not a big deal. And it was interesting and funny for her to reference, anything can be going on, such as bill collectors calling, and she's not going to stress out or get a gray hair. I feel like there is something to be said about Sheree's composure because I feel like, some of the stress we do create ourselves as humans, but the way she just stays composed, and obviously she's a beautiful woman, she looks great. She didn't need fillers in her face. I don't know why she did that. But to see how she just remains composed like that and looks fabulous at the same time, there's something to be said about that. And I do give kudos to Sheree, but you do gotta pay your bill collectors, okay? We're not advising to not pay people. But the biggest, I feel like, later in this episode, we learned that Sheree's father passed away, and she was sharing this moment with Drew, who was, talking about how her mother left to go take care of her father because her father was struggling and needed some care and attention. And then Sheree, she shared how she related to that moment, how her father was experiencing same things, and then he passed away. Of course, Drew is a normal girl. Drew, she actually has a whole response and reacts and said, "When was this? This is such a bomb." And we learned that this was like a day a day ago from when she's filming confessionals, and here's Sheree acting as if nothing happened, but then she breaks and have a little emotional teary moment. I felt for her in that moment. So I don't know. I just wonder if Sheree holds in a lot. But wow. But wow, 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 wow. But I commend Sheree because no matter what issue she has with somebody, she does know how to move forward and move on. Okay. So I did appreciate her support towards Drew because Drew is going through it. Drew is the one that, she let the emotions all out. She wears it all out. Okay. Now, let's move on to Kenya. And as I realized, all the ladies, they have their own small roles, but it all connects back to Drew, okay? And this season. So, moving on to Kenya, in this episode, I feel like we got a little sprinkle here, sprinkle there of Kenya. And I know Kenya has been upset and been making the rounds talking about how production has failed her and is kind of, kind of deleting her off this season, or not really putting her out there in this season, because she says she filmed a lot of scenes and the scenes were not on the episodes and we're not seeing them. So Kenya in this episode, we saw her with baby Brooklyn, who's no longer a baby anymore, super super cute, with her with Kenya's father, Brooklyn's grandpa, and they had a cute moment where they're discussing and sharing how, Kenya's planning to make changes, and she shares to her father that she wants to add a new addition to the family. Now, of course, her father is confused because he's like, "Are you going to adopt?" But, Kenya lets him know that she plans to use the embryos that she has with Mark to have another baby via surrogate. Now she made the final decision to go through a surrogate because she is high risk and she's not planning to not be here for her kids, okay? Which is the best strategy to do, and she can afford it, so she should do it. You should have as many kids as you want if that's the way you want, if that's the way that's possible for you. So her father is on board and supportive of that, and Kenya reassures him, saying that she had many friends who gone through similar process and it was quite successful. Her father questions whether or not Mark will be on board with that. And Kenya keeps emphasizing this in every conversation, that she is concerned to what his thoughts would be, but she knows for a fact that she has rights and sole rights over those embryos. So it doesn't matter what Mark Daly says, okay? And Brooklyn, she wants a sibling. They're ready to expand their family, and I am super on board and supportive with Kenya Moore, which is why I hope she is kept for next season, because it would be so beautiful to see her go through this process, because we got a little bit robbed of this process from her with Brooklyn. So it would be great to see her process, going through the surrogacy process and bringing in this new baby into her life. I would love to see it. Also, of her salon, Kenya, she posted a lot of stuff on her social media before the show even showed up, okay? Showing us the scenes that we were not going to see. We did see, but not really, okay? So Kenya finally has her salon all put together, and it is stunning. It is beautiful. I wish we would have gotten a tour of it, but unfortunately, that was not the storyline of this season. So Kenya, of course, is upset that she's not being platform on a platform that she's sharing her life to, which I would be upset too as well if I feel like I gave access to my life, but you're not really showcasing my life. You're not showing what I got going on. And it's not like it's frivolous stuff, because why are we discussing whether or not, oh, this person called me a B? Like, I am so tired of that conversation, where I much rather see what these ladies have really was going on. So, Kenya was very upset with this. And I don't know, with the way she's going about it on social media, will impact her having a peach next season. And I don't know. I can't imagine. I don't know. I don't think I ever liked the Real Housewives of Atlanta without Kenya, but maybe she needs to move on to other things that suit it and aligns with what she's trying to do. And I would root and go with the twirl. I would go where she goes. I will go where she goes. So it will not be an issue. But I love that, given no matter how much issues that Kenya had with Drew, she has been also a support for Drew. As I mentioned before, she cheered Drew on at the trailer party when she was performing her song. She checked in on Drew after seeing that, that she filed for divorce, kind of rooting for Drew, giving her advice, letting her know that she's there for her, that you have support, which is good to say to people, because oftentimes people don't feel like they have support when they have a fleet of people who want and will be there for you. So I'm rooting for Kenya, but it's very questionable where her future lies for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay. Now, I need to address Courtney. Courtney, I don't know why you're on the picture for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I feel like you were in a few episodes, but I felt like you were not really necessary in this season, in this franchise. I felt like her as a character, she was so irritating. I was irritated. I feel like the way she goes about her conversations, she is super, super, super animated. But I feel like you do that with people you're friendly and you're accustomed to. These ladies are still getting to know you, so this high energy could be a little bit overwhelming, overtaxing. So, Courtney, the highlight of her in this episode is pretty much her spilling the tea. Apparently, her and Ralph are really tight cousins who just got to, even though they just got to knowing each other. And she pretty much spilled all the tea at the end of the episode about Drew and her relationship with Ty, and how it's been known that Drew is into women, been dating women, and she just wants Ralph to pay the bills. Allegedly, okay? I don't know this for a fact, but this is was the tea that Courtney was spilling on national television. I know Drew was upset. Now during filming, in the middle of filming, they at the Candy and Todd's, the Candy Todd production, it was really a Todd production. At the trailer event, Courtney got it in with Drew's sister. Okay, Drew's sister Allison was not happy to hear the tapes where Courtney called Drew a bitch. Now, Allison stepped up for her little sister and went to go check Courtney. And Courtney, she kept denying until she could not deny anymore and said, "Yeah, I said it." But then it was a big deal that she said it, and it was like a whole back and forth. And I felt like this was quite childish. And I wanted to move on from this immediately ASAP. And I know this is not the environment that is conducive to Allison's recovery. She is still on a journey of recovery, and we don't need people like Courtney to take Allison off her track, because Allison really needs to focus on herself, because she has been so much of the role of a mother, a sister, a manager towards Drew, that I felt like if we're having Allison on this show, it needs to be a healthy environment on the show, not where she gets agitated. And this goes for Ralph too as well, because not Ralph is not only guilty but also Drew. Drew and Ralph had a conversation where Drew let Ralph know that Courtney, his cousin, called her a B, and was confirmed. And she wanted her husband to pretty much have her back and support, which is easy. I don't know why he didn't see it, but he chose to take the attitude that it means nothing. Like all the girls have said it to you, it's not a big deal. But obviously, if for Drew it's a big deal, and you should at least be supportive towards your wife. And I felt for Drew in that moment, because she felt so embarrassed. Like, when is this man ever gonna take up for his wife? And I feel like he keeps doing things that it continuously embarrasses her. Okay. I am embarrassed for Drew, and how Ralph treats her. But I'm also embarrassed how Drew has treated her husband too as well. I feel like these two are both in the wrong. They're both in the wrong. And that trailer for the reunion was piping hot, and I didn't know we were gonna get all this. Okay, so y'all, how we finally get to see Ralph and Drew have therapy at least one time this whole season. And it was just, we got to the point where Ralph is accepting to not sleep in the same bedroom with his wife and be okay with it. And I felt so bad for Drew, because we all know that's a no no. That's a setup for a divorce, pretty much. So it was so sad and unfortunate that that Ralph was complacent and happy, sleeping in different bedrooms. And I was like, wow, even the kids are aware, and it's so unfortunate, and so oof, such a tough spot. And you could see in Drew's face, and even the therapist, he sides with Drew, obviously. And I don't know if Ralph have picked up on this, but I feel like the therapist is not very neutral. I feel like the therapist very much sides with Drew. Maybe because she's the one that keeps showing up and paying the man, and that's why he supports her. But you could kind of see that it's kind of skewed towards Drew. And we're not giving Ralph the opportunity to really find a way to make his marriage work. He just is okay with how it is. And obviously, that is not a way to be. Like, come on. You guys didn't start off like that. So, this whole transformation is wild, okay? He did come to support her in the trailer party. He was there to support his wife, but it seemed like Drew was shocked that, oh, he's playing the role. He's acting the part of a good husband. So it feels like, Ralph doesn't look like he can ever have a win, because it always seems like for Drew, it's always there is a motive, like an alternative motive, which is not good. And I feel like, Drew's not setting herself up to for Ralph to ever have a win. Now we have Manetta in this episode, and I feel like Manetta, I don't know what was her role. Maybe just to be a supporting friend. She did pass along the tea, but it wasn't even good tea about Courtney, which was not necessary. She did, try to bring, Kenya's boo thing. He was not in this final episode. We did not. I would have loved to see him host a lunch or something and have all the ladies come over. I would have loved that, but we didn't even get that, Manera. That was your responsibilities. But we did get a special appearance from Miss Cynthia Bailey. And I feel like this is the third coat she has. I feel like she has a coat collection that we don't know about, that she's soft launching on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. If she is, I think it's great. It's great publicity, because I've been noticing that every time she comes to do a cameo on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she shows up with a bright coat. I'm like, damn, none of these places have coat check. Like, there's no place to leave your coat. Like, come on. So I love that for Cynthia Bailey, and she did added some funness to the episode, because we did have a moment where Mama Joyce, she embraced Cynthia, and she did this thing where she checked Cynthia's hands for the wedding ring, and I'm like, Mama Joyce is so shady, and I'm like, Candy, you need to get your mom. You need to get your mom. But I love that moment. Okay, now we gotta move on to Miss Marlo Hampton, y'all. Now I think Marlo Hampton, she looks so beautiful throughout this whole episode. I feel like I love the whole situation with her and Scott Lee. I feel like this is a match, because their energy with each other, I feel like it's a vibe. I love how giddy and how girlish she gets. Her tough exterior seems to melt around Scott Lee. So I am supportive of this relationship, and I have high hopes for more dates and more moments with Scott Lee and Miss Marlo Hampton. I feel like Scott Lee appreciates Marlo for who she is, and Miss Marlo appreciates Scott Lee, and they all, they go to each other's stuff. I mean, she showed up to his restaurant, and he showed up as her plus one. Now they're not boyfriend and girlfriend. She makes it very clear, but I like that these two support each other, so they have a lot, and I'm rooting for them, honestly. Now, Miss Marlowe, she did take the opportunity to say some shady moments about Drew's situation. She was talking to the girls about, wow, they're having a divorce, and what was being said on the headlines. But I felt like, if needed to, Marlo would support Drew. Do, am I reaching? Am I reaching? I feel like Marlo has such a soft spot. Mm. But I don't know. I wouldn't hold my breath too long. But I love how in this season she did focus on foster care, bringing more attention towards it. So I feel like she did a lot of good this season. She did have a few beefs, but she did kept it cordial. When she comes to the room, she says hi to everybody, which I do appreciate. She doesn't make eye contact, but she does say hi to everybody, which I do respect. Okay. Now, off to Miss Sanya, Miss Sanya, Miss Sanya, Miss Sanya. She's good as a supporting role in this franchise, but in this last episode, she had a lot going on. I felt like a lot of things were happening all at once. And it was a little bit unfortunate. So we learned that Sanya, she had a terrible miscarriage, and I was so sad for her, because I knew how much her son, Deuce, was really rooting for this baby. He was so excited for this baby and ready to take care of it like a big brother should, a big brother will. But we learned that she had a miscarriage while she was traveling, and she had immediate medical attention by herself. Her husband wasn't even there, and I know that it's super scary, especially as a black woman going to the hospital and getting medical attention. You don't know if you're gonna come out alive. So I was so shocked for her experience. And a lot of ladies were warning her too. You announce your pregnancy too soon. You're telling everyone too quickly. you're doing too much, Sonia. You're doing too much. I feel like you need to slow it down. And I feel like, her mother really talked to her, gave her advice to say, you need to slow down, take it easy. And, Sonia, she got there really honest with her son. She could not hold the secret away from him. And I thought it was so sweet that, her son was so super comforting to give her prayers. I thought that was super, super sweet. And I felt for her in that moment. Sanya, I feel like she's a good friend to those who support her. But I don't know how she fits in with this group, particularly with Kenya, with Drew, sometimes with Sheree. But I don't know. I don't think this is a fit. I don't think this is how I want to see her in this type of platform. But if she can make it work, she can make it work. Hopefully, we see another season with her. But honestly, I would not be surprised if they don't call her back next season, okay? So, guys, I don't know how to feel. In that last few moments, we get to see Drew, have her confessional moment, and it was super emotional, and I feel like she pulled at our heartstrings. But also, I was thinking about what was going on, what was being said. And obviously, to me, we cannot trust what Drew got to say and what Ralph got to say. They lawyered up and they're not telling us nothing, okay? Nothing until, it's been said at court. So I feel like we probably going to see them next season. We're probably going to see them next season. And that's when we get to know what was really going on. But from what it seems like Drew had a relationship with Ty, who is Mimi's boss ex-girlfriend. And so what was interesting is that we saw Ty at the trailer, and her and Drew were like, "Hi, what's up?" But to learn that they possibly had a relationship with each other, I am so shocked. But the thing is that you don't know whether to trust Drew or not, because we believe that she did lie about kissing Latoya. Okay, she lied about that. Now, apparently there's text messages that are questionable. I don't know, Drew, this is not looking good, especially when she found out that Mimi exposed the text messages, and everyone on social media was talking about it. And Drew's face is like, is it everywhere? Oh my gosh, it's true. So it's true, but who knows? I want to see how Drew's gonna finesse this whole situation. There's nothing wrong with being bisexual, but I feel like maybe she just doesn't want people to be in her business. And I can understand, but listen, then a reality show, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, is not for you, honey. It's not for you. But I feel like these ladies really think they could come on these television shows and not think the truth is going to expose. And it's just a shocker, and it feels like so bad to see them witnessing this type of backlash, because I don't know, I don't support anybody. I only support Drew's kids because it's so unfortunate for them to have to go through this. All of it is being recorded. They're going to be able to watch back on this. So I really did truly wish that they're able to resolve this on a personal level. But on a nosy level, I want to know the tea. I want to know what really went on. What really went on. And that trailer for the reunion was piping hot. I really thought, I've been saying that, Drew been carrying these episodes for quite some time now. So I am so shocked that we really like the reunion. Now everyone is turning on Drew. Candy gets it in with Drew. Oh my God. The last person you want to go at you is Candy. I want Candy as an ally. I don't want her as an enemy, that's for sure. So we'll see how Drew handles herself in this reunion, but it's apparently going to be piping hot, okay? Piping, piping, piping hot. So guys, I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments down below. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate every one of you for taking the time to watching this recap / review. And as always, share as much kindness as possible. Love you guys.